Hey everyone, how's it going? Now set to have his summer blockbuster debut on April 5th, 2019, Shazam, originally called Captain Marvel before the whole New 52 reboot officially changed the character name. Now, when National Comics, which was what DC Comics was more commonly called at the time, began having success with Superman and Batman, Fawcett Publications took notice, and they made their own comic book division and tasked writer Bill Parker with creating superhero characters which could compete in the comics market. Now, initially the idea was 6 superheroes with different powers, each granted one by a mythological figure, but later on that character was revised into being one person but with all 6 powers. Now, this character was originally called Captain Thunder until they couldn't trademark the name, so they then called him Captain Marvelous, which was then shortened to Captain Marvel. Now, the first official appearance of Captain Marvel was in Wiz Comics number 2 in February 1940, and in this comic, Billy Batson was a homeless newsboy who sleeps in a subway station of New York City. Billy is eventually encountered by the wizard Shazam, who has used the powers of quote-unquote gods to fight evil for over 3,000 years at that point, and Billy is then given the wizard's powers, called Captain Marvel, and then shortly after usually the wizard dies and comes back as like a ghost or some sort of mentor-like figure, depending on which origin story you're getting into. For the more recent background, you'd likely have to go to New 52 reboot, considering that's what the movie at least looks like they're taking like 90% of their inspiration from. So in this version, Shazam received a complete makeover by writer Jeff Johns and artist Gary Frank, and beyond changing his character name officially to Shazam, they also moved the character to the city of Philadelphia. And in this iteration of the character, Billy Batson was a rather cold and selfish kid bouncing from foster home to foster home after his parents died. When he was 15 years old, he was adopted by the Vasquez family, and around this time, the god Mamaragan, also known as the Wizard, began looking for a new champion of magic. And during the first day of school at Fawcett High, so nice little nod to, I guess, the OG kind of Captain Marvel stuff there, he witnesses his adopted siblings being bullied. Billy intervenes, beating up the bullies, but gets into some hot trouble, so later that night they sneak out to kind of get around to with the bullies. Now, around this time, Black Adam was also freed by Dr. Savannah, which kind of stressed out the wizard a little bit and kind of rushed the timetable even more than originally intended. So Billy and Freddy go to the bully's house. They kind of tease him a little bit, and it ends up with Billy getting chased. Freddy is able to get hidden because he can't really run like that. So Billy's running, and he runs to the subway, and on the subway, once he gets on the train, he gets magically transported to the Rock of Eternity located at the center of the multiverse. The wizard judges Billy to be imperfect and not a good person, which sparks a debate. Anyone perfect? Is anyone pure? Stuff like that. And eventually the wizard instead judges him on the potential to do good within. Now, when the wizard sees the good intentions Billy's had with a lot of his actions, like protecting his family and some other things he's done here and there just to try being a good person, but Billy just, over time from his experiences, he just got a little colder. But seeing this good potential, seeing this good intentions, Billy is given the powers of Shazam, and from here he battles Black Adam, Dr. Savannah, 7 Deadly Sins, he joins the Justice League temporarily, and now he has his own solo series, so go check that out. Now, originally Billy received his abilities from multiple gods and/or legendary figures. So this came out into being the Wisdom of Solomon, Strength of Hercules, Stamina of Atlas, Power of Zeus, Courage of Achilles, the Speed of Mercury, and that was pretty staple for a lot of decades. However, the New 52 changed this to be Billy having the Genius of Solomon, Strength of Hercules, Unbreakable Will of Atlas, Lightning Blast of Zeus, Power of Achilles, and Speed of Mercury. Yet again, during the Darkseid War, Billy's connection to his powers was disrupted, resulting in the wizard giving him a new pantheon. Now, many of these old gods were trapped in the Source, with DC Rebirth kind of undoing a lot of this stuff, and basically it's assumed that Billy's pantheon of gods reverted to his OG group. Now, they've also made hints to this in the new Shazam ongoing currently happening right now, with basically having characters like Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Hercules, Mercury, Solomon. And the interesting part there is that they were all used to defeat Mr. Mind at one point, maybe resulting in them making a pact for the new champion going forward with the wizard. But it also looks like they're setting up that basically Solomon was the OG champion of the wizard, which would be kind of interesting even before Black Adam. Now, appearances in media of note, I think, is obviously, the film coming out April 5th, but Shazam's also had appearances in the 1941 film serial called Adventures of Captain Marvel. Now, besides this, Shazam's appeared in multiple direct-to-DVD movies such as Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam, and Justice League War. And on television, he's had noticeable appearances on Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and Young Justice, among others. So definitely go check those out, along with the recommended reading, which is, of course, for the New 52 version, we're going to be recommending The Curse of Shazam, which ran as backstories for Justice League for a lot of different issues, but is now collected as a single volume on Amazon. And Jeff Johns also began, I kind of mentioned it already now, he also began writing a new Shazam series, which is set to explore more about the Rock of Eternity, the Council of Eternity, Shazam's role as the champion of magic, all those things. And as I'm recording this, it's on issue number 3, so go check that out if you guys are interested. And that's really it for this episode of Pop Culture 101. I really only focused the stuff mostly on New 52 just because at this point that's really what they're taking stuff from, unfortunately, whether good or bad for fans of the older kind of DC Comics Captain Marvel stuff and even fans of Fawcett Comics Captain Marvel stuff. But comment below your guys' thoughts. What is your favorite Shazam character? And I'll see you guys later.